off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios YouTube channel. We are live on this Friday, the 15th of May, 2026. So let me double check my audio here just to make sure we are all good. We certainly are. So I want to welcome everybody in. Hope everybody had a good week. Finish off the week here a little bit early compared to some of my other, what time is it? 5:49 compared to some of my previous live streams. Seemed like they were getting later and later, so I wanted to make sure we had a relatively early start today. So again, appreciate everybody for being here. We're gonna do a live giveaway. If we have a decent amount of people here, we will certainly do a giveaway for everybody. Now, we'll probably do. I have some cases to give away, so if anybody has an S26 Ultra, I have a Thinborn case to give away. Let me double check. They're right here. Hang on. So I have a Crave case to give away, and I also have a Thinborn case to give away. If you have a S26 Ultra, let me know in the comments. We'll possibly do that here shortly. So the Thinborn case is like $80, and the Crave case is really nice too. So if you got an S26 Ultra, hey, what's going on? Yo. Appreciate you joining us today. So we're gonna talk a couple of interesting topics here, and we're gonna look into the Motorola Razr Fold. There's a little buzz generating around this device, and for good reason. It looks to be the best foldable, dare I say, at least in the United States, meaning available to the United States consumer market. Now you can obviously go and get you a Oppo Find N6, which is Oppo's version of the foldable style. That's probably right on top of the foldable market, but it's right up there with the Razr Fold worldwide. But at least here in America, meaning going to a manufacturer's website and purchasing it, you can do that with the Motorola Razr Fold. With the Oppo Find N6, you're going to have to go grab it on eBay. Who else sells it? GizTop, third-party retailers. And they also add an extra $100 or $200 on top of the regular retail price just so they can make a profit, right? But it appears it's better than the Fold 7. Right, in the upcoming Fold 8, because we know now the Fold 8's just going to essentially be a refresh with a new CPU, but that's it. So the cameras on the Razr Fold look phenomenal and will blow away the Fold 7. So we'll jump into that, and then I also want to look into let's see. I also want to look into SK Hynix. You're not going to believe the employee bonus that they're giving. Like, it's unbelievable. I saw this yesterday. It's like, what the hell? I forgot to talk about it on yesterday's live. I actually double checked a couple different sites to make sure that the information was accurate. It's amazing. And we're also going to get into AirDrop for Android. I know there's a handful of devices that it is enabled at the moment, but there's going to be a few more devices here coming up pretty soon that will enable, I guess, quick share to AirDrop and vice versa, because you can also from an iPhone you can locate via AirDrop a Android phone if it's compatible. We'll get into that as well. So no chats. Yeah, I got chat. What happened to my audio? I don't know. You tell me. Testing. What happened to my audio? It's loud on my end. Testing. 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 What happened to my audio? It's loud on my end. Testing. Testing. I don't know. Would you consider buying a Nothing Phone 3 to review for the channel? I love the content. Greetings from Puerto Rico. Oh, man. I love Puerto Rico. I had no idea you're in Puerto Rico. So I didn't live in Puerto Rico. I've been to Puerto Rico probably 5 or 6 times. I freaking love Puerto Rico. I lived in St. Thomas, the neighboring island, for a couple of years. I went to Puerto Rico numerous times just to go party. And then I've been to Puerto Rico as well a few times with family, for vacations and stuff. Oh, I love Puerto Rico. In fact, I'm not shitting you. I was literally talking to my wife last night about moving there. I'm not even joking. Freaking love it down there. So, man, awesome place. The best part is you don't, especially with the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, you don't need a passport. You don't need a visa. It's part of America. So your U.S. dollars work. There's no, it's like moving to Jamaica or to the Bahamas where you got to worry about your visa. And, I got to go back to the U.S. and then for a month and then come back and I can get another 90-day stay. None of that. You can stay down there as long as you want. So I love Puerto Rico. Getting to the Nothing Phone 3, it's one of those devices that I don't really want, like the OnePlus 15 or even the Nothing Phone 4a Pro. When those got announced and or launched, man, I could not wait to get my hands on one of those, and I'm willing to pay full price like I did for the Nothing Phone 4a Pro or the OnePlus 15, right? But the Nothing Phone 3 is one of those devices where, look, it's ugly as hell. I think that's a given. I think not everybody. If you asked 100 random people, right, that had no knowledge of technology or phones, just random people, and you held the phone up to them and said, "Is this ugly? Yes, or is this visually appealing? Yes or no?" I guarantee you, 9 out of 10, 90% of people would say it's not visually appealing. So like my urge or my desire to get one is very low, but I'm not going to say I would never get one. And I think I said this earlier this week. If I could find one for a really low price, I'll buy it. Yeah, sure. I'll buy it. Every now and then they go on sale on Amazon. Like when the Nothing Phone 4a Pro was launched, you could get a Nothing Phone 3 on Amazon, brand new one, cheaper than the Nothing Phone 4a Pro. I think they were $599 on sale. Well, I guess it would be the same price, but you get the point. So I'm not against it, but I haven't, be honest with you, I have not been looking for any good prices on any used ones. But if I come across one, sure. Yeah. It probably gets better network services and or signal than the 4a Pro, because the 4a Pro has a mid-tier CPU, mid-tier modem, and I think the Nothing Phone 3, even though it has a flagship CPU, it's the 8S version, it still has a better modem in there. It gets Wi-Fi 7, so it should fulfill my needs. It's just a little ugly, but yeah, I would get one. I'm not against getting it, but again, if I could find one for maybe if I could find a Nothing Phone 3, I would like the black model as well, because I don't think the black one looks as weird as the white one. If I could find one for maybe like $400, I'd probably do it, you know? Yeah. Now, I'm not saying anytime soon, maybe a month from now, maybe 2 months from now. I have no clue, but, um, you know, it's, I'm not against it. Yeah, it's, man, we'll get into the list of upcoming devices that it's going to enable on, even where it's going to come to more Android devices. It's nice. I enjoy mine. File share, video share, all sorts of stuff, right? Yeah, it comes in handy. You're from India. Well, cool. That's one place I have not been. Although I would like to go. I really would. I would like to go. What's going on, brother? Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. The modem in there is a flagship modem that's in the Nothing Phone 3, so I'm sure it'd be good. Yep, $599 for the 512. That was the same price. I know. That's when I was buying the Nothing Phone 4a Pro. I saw that on Amazon and I was like, $599. That's the same price as the 4a Pro. And it does have better specs. The 4a Pro certainly looks better, but Wi-Fi 7, right? It has better UFS storage, faster memory. So I know it was quite a deal. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for those. I certainly will. So let's say, and if you just joined us, looks like we do have a fair amount of people in here. We're going to do a giveaway here shortly. So stick around and we will get to that right away. But speaking of devices and what is compatible, let me share my screen here. We'll go over these few topics here because this is really interesting. Something I want to show y'all real quick. Let's see here. Come on now. So, Gemini Intelligence. Have y'all seen this? This is an interesting headline. If you read the headline, check that out. This new Gemini Intelligence has super high spec requirements. So high, in fact, that the Pixel 9 in the current Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 don't even meet the requirements. So we're going to go through what is required in the handful of devices that can run this. If you're an AI user, I say AI user, I think this is more like on-device AI. I sometimes yes, sometimes no, but everybody's different. Maybe you use it for a lot of your workflow throughout the day. But this is important. This is a piece of information that's going to go right over people's heads. But I wanted to put it out there because if you're an AI user, you're going to want to know this. And moving forward, what devices you should get, or should you trade in your current device? Because I don't think the Nothing Phone 3 qualifies for this. Speaking of, so let's get into it. So Google's new intelligence push. This new Google Intelligence is the most powerful AI features specifically designed for premium Android devices. As you know, if you've been computer shopping lately, they always display what the tops is or something to do with AI, right? So this is going to essentially garner on-device AI. You gotta have good specs to run some of these models. Well, in particular, Gemini Intelligence. So this Gemini Intelligence, Google details the minimum spec requirements, and they're pretty high, right? So on the footnotes of the Google Intelligence website or webpage, the very first footnote and or requirement, it's kind of in a gray area. They say a quote unquote flagship chip. Now that I don't think would only disqualify the Nothing Phone 3, but I think a couple of other things would as well. But let's jump into the other requirements. It at least has to have 12 gigs of RAM. it has to support the AI core system app. It's not going to be an app that's in your app drawer. It's actually in your system files. If you go to your settings and you go to system apps and then you search for AI core, you'll be able to tell if it's there or not. Most flagship phones do have them nowadays. But it also has to support, here's the key, here's the kicker, Gemini Nano version 3 or higher. The device also needs to be getting at least 5 OS updates in its lifespan and at least 6 years of security updates. So again, the minimum requirements is a flagship CPU, 12 gigs of RAM, support AI core, Gemini Nano version 3 or higher, and has to have 5 years of OS updates and 6 years of security updates. So let's see here. Now, what devices would that would qualify for right now? So here are the Android devices that meet those specifications right now. You have the Google Pixel 10 series. You got the Pixel 10, Pixel 10 Pro, Pixel 10 Pro XL, Pixel 10 Pro Fold. You got the Honor Magic 8 Pro, IQ 15. You got the Motorola Signature meets those requirements. OnePlus 15 and OnePlus 15R. I knew those were going to be on the list. Oppo Find X9, X9 Pro, X9 Ultra, X8, X8 Pro, Reno. A lot of Oppo devices meet these requirements, which is nice. The Realme GT70, the Samsung Galaxy S26 series does, and the Vivo X200T, X200, X200 Pro, X300, X300 Pro. Now, here it is, and you might have one of these phones. If you use a lot of AI, you might want to consider getting a device that does qualify that we just went over. But take a look at these devices, and they're pretty freaking new, that don't meet the new Gemini Intelligence requirements. You got the Pixel 9 series, the Honor Magic V5, Magic 7 series, IQ 13, the Moto Razr 60 Ultra, Razr Ultra 2025, the OnePlus 13, OnePlus 13S, Oppo Find N5, Poco F7 Ultra, F8 Pro, F8 Ultra, X7 Pro, X8 Pro. Realme GT7 Pro does not meet the requirements. Here's the surprising one. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 does not meet the requirements. The newly launched $3,000 Galaxy Z Trifold does not meet the requirements. Okay, the Vivo X200 FE, Vivo T4 Ultra, Xiaomi 14T, Xiaomi 15, Xiaomi 15T, 15T Pro, 15 Ultra, Xiaomi 17, Xiaomi 17 Ultra, Xiaomi Pad Mini does not meet the requirements, which is surprising. Now, another thing that's really surprising is, look at this. So, recent leaks came out that Google is going to reduce the amount of RAM that the upcoming Pixel 11 series is going to have in these devices. RAM is getting more expensive for all these manufacturers, and they're starting to make adjustments. Now, if Google reduces, so the Pixel 11 Pro and 11 Pro XL and 11 Pro Fold are going to come with 12 gigs of RAM. Previous years, the Pros would come with 16 gigs of RAM. This upcoming year, they're going to bump it down to 12. But the base Pixel 11 is going to come with 8 gigs of RAM when it used to come with 12. Now, that would make it unqualified on the Pixel 11, the base Pixel 11, to run Google Gemini Intelligence. Are they going to make it an exception? I don't know. Running a lot, this AI stuff, it does use a lot of memory. It's just a fact. So it'd be kind of embarrassing for Google to launch a flagship device and it can't even run the Gemini Intelligence, the new Gemini Intelligence. So I'm really not sure where that's going. But just something interesting to take a look into. We're not going to go too much more into this, but I believe the new Fold 8 should this year. The Fold 8 should. That's going to be released in July. So just keep your mind on that. I have a link in the description of this video, so if you want to read this article to see what some extra details, be my guest. I linked it down below before I started the live stream. I was a little prepared. Well, yeah, little. Normally I link it after the show, but today I got it down there for everybody to take a look at. Now let's get into AirDrop. So quick share to AirDrop. Here's another list. This list is devices that currently have the quick share to AirDrop compatibility. And here pretty soon, there's going to be a whole bunch more devices, Android devices, where this will be compatible. And again, this is backwards compatible, meaning if you have I don't know, let's just say, an Android phone, you can search for in your quick share, and you have an iPhone on over here, the iPhone will show up in the quick share list of devices to share your content to, and vice versa. So if you jump on your iPhone, you go into AirDrop and you search for devices. If you have a compatible Android phone, that phone will show up in the AirDrop list of compatible devices. So it's not just one way, it's both ways. So here's the current AirDrop enabled Android devices. It's a decent list, right? You got the Pixel 10 series, you got the Pixel 9 series, you have the Pixel 8a. When did they sneak the Pixel 8a in there? I have no clue. I thought it went down to the 9. I didn't even know the 8 series was on the list. But the S26 series, you can do that. Oppo Find X9 series. So X9 Ultra, X9 Pro, if you got one of those. Yes, the Find N6, that'll also share content to and from AirDrop devices. And then the Vivo X300 Ultra, that new device that just launched. That is out as well for AirDrop compatibility. Now, here are upcoming devices. So if you have one of these devices, the AirDrop to quick share functionality will soon be available on a very soon software update. Now, for each and every device, I don't have a specific date, but when I looked into this about an hour ago, it says it's obviously up to the manufacturer and them implementing this code into an upcoming software update. So I don't know if it's going to be on next month's security patch for these devices. I would think it would be at least in the next 1 to 2 months. So if it's not in this upcoming monthly software update, it should be in the following software update. Because a lot of these, they get these done. So like, let's just say when Samsung puts a monthly update out, they've already been working on the code for a month, right? If not longer. So that's what I'm saying. The time might have passed for Samsung to launch the S25 series with this available for the May security patch. So if you don't see it in the May security patch, it'll probably be in the June security patch. But have no fear, it's on its way. And you can see a long list of Samsung devices. So you got the S25 series, S24 series. You got the Tri-Fold. You got the Fold 7, Flip 7, Fold 6, Flip 6. Find X8 from Oppo, Find X8 Pro from Oppo. You're going to have the OnePlus 15. Now, the OnePlus 15 already has a file share application. What is it? O Plus Connect in the phone. But the new quick share to AirDrop compatibility, you can bypass using a third-party app. Well, I guess it's not a third-party because it's a OnePlus branded app, OnePlus developers. But you get the point, right? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Oppo has, because Oppo is the parent company of OnePlus, I think Oppo has like something similar. I don't know if it's called O Plus Connect like in OnePlus, but I think you can already share files to and from. I don't have an Oppo, never have. Definitely want one, but never been able to test that out. So maybe if one of y'all watching has one, you could let me know. And then Honor, then that's an interesting brand, Honor. I don't think I've seen a phone from Honor that makes me want to desire go out and get an Honor phone. Um, I know Flossie Carter has reviewed some of them as of recently on his channel, and I've watched one, but um, I don't know. It's one of those I'm sure you're gonna have to go to GizTop or something to go grab, but that's a decent list. And look, as time goes on, that list will get even bigger, right? I'm sure in a few more months after they launch this wave of devices that are compatible with AirDrop, I'm sure a few months after that you'll get the S24 series, right? For if you have S24 Ultra, or what else? I'm not sure. Maybe the OnePlus 13. I'm not sure I'm not sure how far they're going to go back, meaning how old a device will be that they will support. Now they should go. See, my thing is, if it has the technology inside the phone and the phone is still within its update cycles, they should push it to these phones. Like if you have a S23, right? S23 series, you're still within your update, cycle. You're still getting monthly updates. You're still getting security patches. You're still getting software updates. So just because it's like 3 years old doesn't mean they should just overlook it, because that's kind of shitting on your customers, honestly, because if they do that, it wouldn't make me feel comfortable. Now, I upgrade or I buy new phones all the time, so not a big deal to me. The most I hang on to a phone is like a year. But I get it. If you buy a phone, if you're one of the people that purchases a phone, holds on to it for as long as possible, or up through the update cycle, meaning towards the end when it doesn't have any more software updates or security patches, I get that, right? And it's kind of discourages people from doing that, honestly. It's pretty foul. Now, I'm not saying Samsung's doing that. I'm just saying we'll have to see where this goes, because this is new. Supporting Apple Android compatibility. I don't really know where this is going to go, but I'm just saying, and I'm not just singling out Samsung, OnePlus, Honor, Oppo. Like, you need to push these. If the technology's there, you got to push them to these older devices that are 2, 3, 4 years old. Like, come on. These things are expensive. You can't do your customers dirty like that. Please don't turn into Apple. Just because you've enabled compatibility with Apple, I don't want you to turn into Apple, because that's something Apple would do. That's right up their alley. They love to shit on 2, 3-year-old phones. They love to force customers to upgrade, right? And a lot of the times the customers don't even realize what's going on. Yeah, but Apple does that. So I just hope Android doesn't go down that same road. But we'll have to wait and see. It's crazy that the 2026 Razr Ultra is $1,500 and barely has any improvements. Yeah, I've never, I haven't really paid attention to the flip style. Is that what you mean? Yeah, the Razr Ultra. From what I understand, it's a refresh. Yeah, it's expensive. It's very expensive. Yeah, I've never, and the one thing that keeps me from buying a Motorola flip style phone is the lack of updates, because the only two phones that they're updating monthly is the Razr Fold and the Signature. So I haven't even looked at specs. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've just kind of blocked that out, because I don't ever consider getting one, because they don't update their freaking phones. You did? Oh man, we're going to jump into it here in just a minute. I almost did last night. I'm thinking about it. I'm like this close. So I think I am. I think I got a couple phones to trade in. So we're going to get into it. I think I might pull we'll see. I've been in the market for a new Signature So I don't know if I want to go that route or the Razr Fold route, but we'll get into it here shortly. Check this out. Did you see? I had to check my sources on this headline. Not my sources. I had to check news period because I read this headline and I was like, there's no way. And then I remember, oh yeah, Samsung employees in South Korea were going to boycott in the warehouse where they make the memory. Samsung employees were going to walk out on the job demanding a raise simply because of what SK Hynix is doing with their employees. So, as we all know, the memory prices have skyrocketed. I mean, skyrocketed. It is insane. Tripled, quadrupled in prices within a few months. Well, these memory companies are making so much money hand over fist. Numerous companies, just in this past quarterly report, numerous manufacturers, memory manufacturers, broke record revenue profits in a quarter for the history of the company. I mean, I can think of like 3 or 4 off the top of my head where I've seen reports like that. It's insane. Well, SK Hynix, with every employee, they have like a profit sharing thing with them, and it looks like it's about to pay off pretty big. Now, these are employees, I believe these are employees in South Korea? Where are they located at? I believe it's in South Korea. So check this out. Every SK Hynix employee is going to receive at the bare minimum, essentially. Now, this is translated into US dollars. Each and every employee, even the janitor, even if you're an employee, if you get a paycheck from SK Hynix, you're getting a bonus of at least $500,000. Holy shit. I couldn't believe it. It's real. And almost $1 million next year. Say, what? How the hell do I get hired on? That was my first thought. It was, damn, are they hiring? Honestly, I was like, shit, I'll scrub the toilets for $1 million bonus. Sure. What do I care? You'll be seeing the most spotless, cleanest toilets of any company in the world if they gave me $1 million bonus. And that's next year. So total, you can get $1.5 million in bonuses just for simply doing your day job. How cool is that? 35,000 workers are reportedly set to benefit from profit sharing of $169 billion from their operating profit. How insane is that? Now, just let's go back a year from now. Nobody knew that the memory, well, maybe a couple of insiders kind of predicted that memory prices were going to go up. But even, let's go back even farther. Let's go like a year and a half, 18 months ago from right now in the past. Nobody knew that the memory prices were going to shoot up. And I guarantee you, if we all knew this was going to happen, everybody would be applying for SK Hynix jobs. But some companies will have profit sharing. You see that sometimes when you apply for a job, you're like, great, what am I going to get? An extra $6.14 on a paycheck? Like, whatever. Like, that stuff never impressed me because it's just chump change. But this is something different. This shows you how much money these companies are making. Now, this is pissing off. Samsung employees are livid because Samsung doesn't have profit sharing. Well, I take that back. I don't know. I'll put it that way. But it looks like they don't because they are so pissed off. They're demanding a pay raise. They're demanding a bonus. And they're planning a strike. Now, this is in South Korea in the warehouses where they make the memory. Everybody's seeing these headlines, and they're saying, well, hold up. Well, if SK Hynix is making record profits, Samsung reports their record profits. So the Samsung employees were like, well, that's not fair. Well, hold up. We need a slice of the pie. I mean, Samsung is in trouble because they're not looking too good right now. The profits are looking good, but taking care of either your employees, I don't know. So you're definitely I'm not going to read this whole thing. I basically told you everything you need to know. But if you want to look into this, you might want to apply. Well, it's probably too late if you want to apply for a job. I guarantee you, each and every open position probably has 20,000 applicants, because I honestly thought, damn, are they hiring? But if I'm saying that, and I have no experience in the chip manufacturing, memory manufacturing, but this is just insane. It just goes to show you how much money they're making. So there was a planned strike. It says at Samsung, things aren't looking quite so good as disputes rage on surrounding what percentage of earnings should flow to workers. The company's union is pushing for a 15% operating profit, which market analysis projects reach roughly $202 billion this year. At that level, the semiconductor division alone would owe approximately $396,000 per employee across its 77,000 person workforce. So you can see the lawyers for the union, I don't know the whatever it's called over there, but I'm sure the lawyers did all the math and worked it out, and these are the numbers they're coming to. This is what they want. This is what they demand, and they're going to strike and walk out if these demands are not met. Well, I'm not taking Samsung's side. I know I get called out sometimes, but I'm just looking at both angles. I understand from the employee standpoint, right? I've worked factory jobs. I've worked blue collar jobs for a majority of my adult life. But on Samsung's side, I don't think they can afford. Now, I know that sounds crazy because they're seeing record profits, but Samsung's in trouble. Like, the company's not doing good. They just got bailed out by the rising cost in memory. Like, their mobile division, not doing good. Now, there's no profit sharing between their memory division and their phone division, but and of course Samsung's going to claim, well, we can afford that. Samsung's going to come out and say essentially that they just can't afford to pay bonuses like this to their employees. So it's one of those things where it's like, I think the employees are going to be shit out of luck. I mean, maybe they will strike a deal of some sort, but I don't know if Samsung can cough up over $200 billion just to give to employees. But if you work at SK Hynix, man, hats off to you. Congratulations, because that is a come up. Holy crap. You're going to be driving a Ferrari, pulling up to the warehouse, going to your 9 to 5. That is insane. Like, that's something you see in a movie. I mean, $1.5 million in the span of 2 years is insane. And these are just regular workers, regular 9 to 5s, right? Imagine that. You're making $20 an hour in a warehouse, and then whatever your product that you make, the product demand just skyrockets. The prices skyrocket, and your company's like, we have good news. We're gonna give you major bonuses up to $1 million next year and 500,000 this year. You would think you are sleeping or still having a dream, right? I'd be rubbing my eyes like, you're gonna do what? Because the companies I've worked for, they had some real assholes. I'm sure, like everybody, but man, I would be your number one employee. I would be all about teamwork. It was quite the opposite at some of my previous jobs, right? But man, this is something amazing. So I don't know if y'all saw that, but I couldn't believe it. I said, holy crap. So if you want to read this story, if you want some more information, go to the link down below in the description box. Now let's jump into this Motorola Razr Fold, and then we'll do the giveaway. So let's see here. It sounds like old school auto union benefits. Yeah, back in the day when you could work for GM or Ford in Detroit, right? And that's enough to buy a home, buy a couple cars, send your kids to college. You could live off one of those jobs. Nowadays, it's like you got to have, if you work at GM or a Ford factory, you got to have your spouse working as well, just to barely keep your head above water. Man, has it flipped. Um, and that's the other thing over there in South Korea. I don't know what their laws are, their labor laws, their union laws. I just don't know, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. Maybe they don't have any shit. I have no clue. Honestly, I have no idea. But I do know these Samsung workers are not happy. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it's just the luck of the draw. Like, nobody knew this was going to happen, right? If we did, everybody would have jumped ship and moved to SK Hynix a couple years ago, right? Shit, I would have moved over there to apply for a job. If they would hire me, I would have been gone. Honestly. Um, and that's just, and look, there's more to come. These memory prices, I think we did a video a couple weeks ago where the industry insiders think that we're not going to get over this AI bubble that's raising these memory prices. A lot of the industry insiders don't think we're going to get to the other side of this until after 2030. So that's essentially what, another about 5 years, 4 or 5 years. So I think the prices they're not coming down, at least for the next 4 to 5 years, which means SK Hynix is going to continue record profits, if not continually breaking record profits, which means the employees are going to get more bonuses, more bonuses, more bonuses every single year. If they do 500,000 this year, $1 million next year, what's the year after that? In 2028. What's going to be the bonus after that in 2029? Is it going to be 1.5? Is it going to be 2? And again, these are converted into US dollars. So we're not talking, a nice little Christmas bonus. No, this is like, you're making more than doctors and lawyers, and you're just doing your day job at a warehouse. Like, it's insane to think about. But those got to be the happiest employees ever. Honestly, I bet they're coming to work with a smile on their face from ear to ear. I bet they're at work like 30 minutes before they're supposed to clock in. Like some of those jobs that you don't really like going to. You kind of drag your ass going in there, and right at 9 o'clock, right 9 in the morning, you get there, you clock in. You're like, well, I guess it's time to get to work. No, not over there. I bet they are singing along to their favorite songs on the highway, pulling up to work. Hey, Bill. Hey, Bob. Good day, brother. Another great day of work. And they're clocking in and having a good old time. So it does make for a good work environment. They are the happiest employees in the history of commerce, probably. What's going on, Bradley? These 7-year updates are total BS. After 3 years, you get to the bottom of the bucket. You do. And that's a perfect example of that, honestly, right? With the AirDrop to quick share feature, because it's features like that should be enabled on each and every device. Like I said, if the technology is there, if it's physically possible to activate this setting inside of a phone, why not do it? If it's getting updated, you should not just send updates to it, right? We need features, because it discourages you from buying another phone. Are these phone companies like using their brains? This is what I don't understand, and what drives me insane about this industry, or this little sector of the tech world with these phone companies, is somehow, some way, the guy in the corner that's saying, we need to only update these newer phones that are, 1 to maybe 2 years old with the latest and greatest features. They're saying essentially to not update the 3 to 4 year old phones, or hell, even 5 to 6, because they want you to upgrade. Let's be honest. That's what it's. That's what they're doing. Um, I wish it was. I wish it was not like that, but that's what they're doing. Right now, I don't know if there's a certain specifications a phone has to have to enable quick share to AirDrop. But Lord have mercy, if your phone has Bluetooth, if your phone has an NFC, if obviously these phones get Wi-Fi, which in that those three things would cover essentially all mobile phones throughout the last 10 years, then it should support it, right? So it's very disappointing. But I look, we don't know. They haven't made a statement. I guess time will tell. The S25 series will be getting it here in the next month or two. Now, they haven't said anything past that, right? So I will certainly blast them if we're sitting here. Y'all might have to remind me, but 6 months from now, and all Samsung's done is just push this to the S25 series, and that's it. Like, that's ridiculous. You should get how they should do it is I get supporting your latest and greatest first, right? That makes sense to me. Like if I was a decision maker in the Samsung boardroom or wherever, that's probably an idea I would come out with, because you would like to benefit the buyers of your latest and greatest device, right? So we'll push the update to them first. But I'm not going to sit on that for a few months until I push out another update. So what I would do is have the S26 series devices get it first, and then the very next month I would push it to the S24 series. S25 series. And then the month after that, I would push it to the S24 series. Then the month after that, I would push it to the S23 series. And the month after that, I would push it to the S22 series. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can still benefit the buyers of the latest and greatest devices, but you're still not alienating the people that bought a flagship premium device a couple years ago, right? That's love that phone. Maybe they don't want to upgrade, you should not alienate those customers, because you're going to push them to another phone manufacturer. Like, I don't think a lot of in not just singling out the phone companies, I think a lot of companies don't really put themselves in their consumers' shoes. Like, some of this stuff, and you can't tell me the S24 series does not support that. You cannot tell me it would not support this quick share to AirDrop feature. Like, that's just total BS. There's no way I would believe that. Like, the tech is there. It's not even that old. It's like, what, 18 months old? At the most 2 years old? 24 months? Really? So, we'll just have to wait and see. Time will tell. I have no clue. But I certainly understand that. Just wanted to throw my question out there again. Did you see it? How will the data center controversy affect the phone world? Data center you're talking about the I'm struggling to, maybe I missed that, but what data center controversy? You talking about the memory and all the memory chips going to the data centers and not the phones? Well, that's what's directly that directly ties into the SK Hynix employee bonus story, because these AI data centers are buying up as much memory as they can to supply their data centers, right? And then you see Google reducing the RAM in their upcoming flagship series because of that. The prices are sky high. I mean, it's a trickle down effect through other industries, and ultimately the end consumer gets screwed, right? I mean, have you tried to buy a stick of RAM lately. A 32 gig memory kit. It's pretty freaking high. It's insane. So interesting. Reports that data centers are taking up a ton of fresh water. I had no clue. No, I had not seen that. How would that affect the phone world if the data centers were taking up water? I'm curious. I have no clue. I'm just asking. Huh. No, I didn't. That's an interesting angle. I haven't seen any stories. I'll look into it. I'm gonna make a note here. I'll look into it here when we're done. I had to make a note for that to look into that here when it's done. So, no, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I had not seen anything in regards to that. But let's move on. We'll do a giveaway here. We're coming up on an hour, so this will work out perfect. So, oh, if you have an S26 Ultra, let me know in the comments. Email me, esimstudios@gmail.com. I'm gonna give away some cases. I got a pile of cases over here I'm not using for the S26 Ultra. I got a Crave case I can give away, brand new. Thinborn case I can give away, brand new. And it's like $80. So hit me up. I'll send it to you for free, right? So let's look at the Motorola Razr Fold. This is a fantastic device, and thank God I was able to use the Motorola Signature for a month or two before this comes out, because to be quite honest with you, I would have a little bit of uncertainty of whether I should get, if you're interested, if you like foldables, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest with you. I've had the flips. I like the flips. I think it's just nostalgia reasons. But I'm not a big fan of the folds because I just haven't found one that I like. They're cumbersome. I just don't know how much I would use the device folded open. You see what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm like, well, if I'm not going to use it a lot when it's open, then what's the point of buying one, right? Because if I'm going to use it most of the time when it's closed, why don't I just use a regular phone? Because these things are mad expensive. But I think this one might be different. I did use the Motorola Signature. I was blown away by the operating system. They've done a lot of improvements to the operating system. This is going to get monthly updates for 7 years. I like the CPU it has in it. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. It's phenomenal. I love it. It's got a ton of RAM, ton of memory, blazing fast UFS 4.1 storage, LPDDR5X RAM. It's almost spec'd out. The cameras are, these sensors are the same sensors you can find in the very best camera phone in the world. So they're bringing it with the cameras. It's not like Samsung where they're giving you shitty cameras on a $2,000 device. That is not this. They're giving you the very best sensors in the world on this device. So if there's a foldable out there that should pique my interest, it's this. It is this. And I want to make sure everybody is aware, and I'm not telling you to buy this. It is expensive. You can see the price there, but you can get some good deals. So they will be at sale at Best Buy. So you can go to a Best Buy. They'll have them on display. You can test it out, try it out, see what it looks like, see how it feels. Remember, this does have stylist support, unlike Samsung. And it's devices like this that come out that make Samsung look shitty when it comes to foldables, right? It's like you put shitty cameras on there, you took away S Pen support, And this brings everything. This has everything that the Fold 7 does not have, or the Fold 8 will not have, because I got word that the Fold 8 is not going to have S Pen support as well, and they're not upgrading the cameras again. So the more and more you look at it, the more and more this is like a no-brainer. But out of that $18.99 price point, you could reduce that by I think I was on Motorola's website last night, and I think one of the phones I had to trade in, I think they would give me like $900 off. So essentially, you could trade in your phone, and then you would still have $1,000, right, to pay. So now Best Buy also has trade-in offers, as you can see here. You save up to $800 when you trade in a similar device. Now, I'm not going to go through all that. You can be my guest, but you can see there they'll knock a nice chunk off of that price tag. So it'll essentially be like you're just buying a regular, I say regular, flagship smartphone, right? Instead of paying $1,900, you essentially pay $1,100, something like that, which is the price of a brand new flagship phone this year. So Best Buy has got it. And then Motorola has got them too. Oh, I hate it when they populate your search on when you're trying to search for something else. So here's Motorola's website. You can pre-order it right now. Now I don't get any kickbacks. I don't have any affiliate links on here. We're just looking at this phone. That's for sale. Now if you go to here and pre-order, and then you select trade-ins, they have some interesting trade-in deals, right? Come on, where is the trade-in stuff? My God, they make you go through. What the hell? Am I missing something? I was on here last night. Why is this not pulling up? I don't think they have. Damn it. Oh God. I think it's because I have my display vertical. But I wanted to show you some of the trade-in deals. Trade-in program. Let's see here. You know what? I'll look it up on the phone here. See, it takes it right. It goes right. When I'm on the phone, it goes right here. Why don't we do this? It's missing this section right here, and I have it here on my phone. Damn it. Let's see. So let me give you some idea. I'm not going to go through every phone that they offer trade-in values for. I just want to give you an idea, right? So let's see. Do you have a trade-in? Yes. Smartphone. So the manufacturers that they allow trade-ins for: Apple, Google, Motorola, OnePlus, and Samsung. Now, for the iPhone users out there, I'm going to choose iPhone real quick. Let's choose the latest one. Let's say you have a 17 Pro Max, right? And you want to upgrade to this thing here. Let me show you kind of what we're looking at. Let's go with a 512. Yes, yes, yes. Trade-in value $638. That's for a 17 Pro Max 512. And Motorola is giving you $638 for your trade-in. Now, let's say you have an S26 Ultra, right? Maybe you want to, maybe you, like me, have an S26 Ultra. You're not that impressed. You want to go with something that's, different, like way different. So, let's try the S26 Ultra and see, because I don't remember what it was last night. Mine's a 512. Yes, yes, yes. $684. Not as high as I thought, but let's try something else. Let's try the OnePlus 15 and see what that would get us. Probably less, right? I don't even think they have OnePlus 15 on here. I don't see it. So what else was there? Let's see. Motorola. Oh, Google. What if you had? Oh, yes. It was the Google Pixels that they were giving the most trade-in value for. Watch this. So if you have a 10, what if you have a Pro XL, right? And you have a, I don't know, 256. $866. That's for the 256 Pixel 10 Pro XL. And then if you have the 512 gig Pixel 10 Pro XL, they're giving you like $950 for it. So out of all, weird. These companies are weird. I don't get it. Out of all the phones that they accept for trade-in deals towards the Motorola Razr Fold, they give you far more value for a Google Pixel than anything else. It's really weird. But you know what? I do have a Pixel 10 Pro I'm not using. Let me look at this, then we'll do the giveaway. Hang on. Let's see. Pixel 10 Pro. What is it? 256. $957 trade-in value for a Pixel 10 Pro. That's more than the trade-in value that they would give you for the Pixel 10 Pro XL, the big one. I have no, maybe they messed up somewhere. Maybe they typed in a wrong number. Doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Maybe they figure they have a greater chance of pulling in a Pixel user, right? Because the software is fairly similar, but Motorola is like the Pixel software experience, just far more customizable. I think that's, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Is trade in that Pixel 10 Pro that I have. It's just sitting in the drawer. It's past the 200 charging cycle limit, so it takes like 2 hours to charge. The battery life sucks on it. I think that's the move, because if I try and sell it, I'm only going to get like $500 out of it. So what's the point of selling it? I might as well trade it in. They'll give me double, essentially $1,000. And then you'd only have to pay, only $900 for this. Oh boy, that's the move right there. I knew there was a phone. I was going through these last night, and it's been 10, 15 minutes kind of looking at all these trade-in values. And then I remembered going, holy crap, but I couldn't remember what phone it was that I said that, because it was right before I fell asleep. But that's it. Pixel 10 Pro. If you can find you a cheap one on eBay, on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace for a few $100, that's a play right there. Go buy the Pixel 10 Pro, a few $100, trade it into Motorola for $1,000, and go get you one of these. So I think I put the link down below in the video description of the best buy Motorola Razr Fold link, but I don't believe I added this. So let me do that right now. I'm talking and then we'll do the giveaway. So let me add this just for those of y'all that are interested. Let's see here. That's crazy, right? And then if y'all want to get started on the giveaway, why don't we put hashtag gift in the chat? Hashtag gift. Hashtag gift. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this on my other YouTube channels, if you're watching this on what else? On Twitch, you need come over to the YouTube eSIM Studios YouTube channel if you want to participate in the giveaway. Go to the YouTube app, search for eSIM Studios in the search bar, and then you'll obviously, once you search for eSIM Studios, you'll see the icon logo. You'll see that we're live. Join the vertical or the horizontal live. I don't think it matters. And then type in the chat gift, hashtag gift, and I'll put it out here for everybody. Just like that at the bottom. And then we will, or if you're watching this on vertical, I think it's up top. And then we'll do the giveaway here shortly, or here in just a minute. Let me get it set up. And it'll be $25 Amazon gift card or $25 Cash App. And if you live outside the country, I don't know. I'll find a way to send you some money outside the country. So why don't y'all put that in the chat and I'll get this set up here. Oh yeah, and if you have an S26 Ultra, let me know and I'll send you one of these cases. And I think I had what else did I have? Let me put my flashlight on. Well, I I I got cases all over the place, but I got my S20, I got my stack of S26 Ultra cases here, and if you got that phone, let me know. I'll send you some. But I got this thing ready to go. I was gonna sell it, to be honest with you. I was gonna sell it anyways. So I saw the trade-in value, and I was like, "Holy crap, that is amazing!" Oh yeah, shit, I'm supposed to set this up. Pull this over here. And all right. All right. Let me share my screen here. What the hell's going on? There we go. Hashtag gift. Y'all ready? Yeah, man, I've been thinking a lot about that lately. I think so as well, honestly. there's too many good options out there, right? It's like Samsung's worst nightmare, but it's their own fault. Like they could fix this. And look, we'll have to wait and see what next year's phone has. If they bring it, all new sensors, all new top of the line hardware, they could turn it around. But I don't know, I'm in the same boat. I was literally thinking of that just the other day. I'm like, this might this might be my last Samsung phone. Well, I'll still need one for the channel, but as my daily driver, I don't. I think I'm gonna move on to something else. Whether it's Oppo, I don't know. I was gonna say OnePlus, but they're 16 is not really gonna be an option. It's a thing. Us US users are screwed because we really don't have a lot of choices. Now, if Motorola comes out with like the Signature 2 or whatever they call it, the second version of the Signature, I might just use that. I really, really like that phone, especially if OnePlus is not going to be available. I was perfectly fine with the Signature, using that as my daily driver for a month or two earlier this year. I love that phone. In fact, I'm trying to get another one. So, I don't know. Might just go with that. Where did I get my what device? The Signature? I got it from eBay. Interesting. Yeah, the Swiftronics. The Swiftronics. Sorry, there was a little fruit fly. The Swiftronics, I can't remember. I looked into buying one from them, and I can't remember. It was either one of two things. Either the price was extremely high compared to eBay, or they didn't have the right version. I think that's what it was. I think they had the Europe version, and the version I need is the India version. The India version has all of the bands that my T-Mobile here in the United States uses is compatible with. So I think the I think the European one only had like two compatible bands, while the India model had like four or five, honestly. I haven't heard anything. I looked into that last week or earlier this week when I got off the live. I think it was you that reminded me that. Nothing. So I don't know what they're doing. I know they announced the RCS 4.0, but no version on when it's coming out. Oh, for Oppo? I don't really no. I think the Oppo, there's a global. Okay, so the Oppo, they have a China model and a global model. If you're not in China, I would strongly suggest you not get the China model. If you're anywhere else outside of China, get the global model. So, it's up to each manufacturer kind of how they do their models. For the Motorola Signature, it was a India model or the European model, EU model. That was it. Now they're unlocked. You can use them anywhere in the world. It's just how many bands do you want compatible with the carrier you're using? One has more than the other. The one I needed here in the States was the India model. But once you get it in, you can't tell it's India, right? When you change your system language to English, United States English, you would think it was a US model. See what I'm saying? You can't really tell. Yeah, so it does, but not only 71, because where I'm sitting at right now, it bounces between 12, 41, and 71. Well, in fact, I rarely use 71 where I'm at right now. So most of the time I'm using 12, and then a lot of the times I'll use 41 as well. So it all depends on where you at. That's all. It depends on where you are located at. Now, if you want to, every now and then, there's a good app called Network. What is it called? That I use. I'll open it up, look at it every now and then, just to, keep an eye on what I'm connected to. It's that time of the day. Let me run this and we'll get out of here. Joeen L6982. I know I probably butchered that, but congratulations to you. A new winner. I don't remember seeing you as a winner, so congratulations to you. Big winner for the week. Congratulations. So here's what I want you to do, and I'll be more than happy to send over your money in a couple of different variations, however you want to do it. But email me, esimstudios@gmail.com, esimstudios@gmail.com. I'll get with you behind the scenes, and I'll send over whether you want Amazon, Cash App, or if you're outside the country, like I said, we'll figure it out. I've had to figure it out with a couple other people, but congratulations. Thank you for viewing the channel. I thank everybody for viewing the channel. And as I mentioned, it's that time of the day, so I got to go. But thank you very much. I really, really appreciate your time. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the day. Please be safe. And as always, we'll see you here again tomorrow. Peace out.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.